By the end of this video, you're going to have a 4-step guide to figure out and solve your dog or cat's limping problem using brand new herbal medicine.
You can see, good girl.
Hi, my name is Pet Doc Donna, and I've had over 30 years of holistic veterinary medical experience, so let's start getting your pet feeling better now. Now here's a reminder, if you skip any of these 4 steps, it could lead to your pet limping longer than you'd like, so please don't skip any of them. If your pet is young, say under the age of 5, and your pet just started limping and your pet is still toe touching on the ground, so he's not lifting the leg all the way up, then it could be just a mild strain or sprain, just using Arnica montana, the homeopathic Arnica montana, 3 times a day for 2 days, and then see if your pet is all better with no limping. Sometimes these mild strains and sprains just go away on their own. If your pet is limping more than a day or 2, you need to go to your veterinarian for x-rays and more evaluation. For any limping pet, you're going to want to rest your pet. You do not want your pet running around on a limping leg, right? You want to keep them enclosed in an X-pen or a smaller space, or even on a leash if you don't have a way of enclosing your pet, especially when there's other pets there. If there's a soft tissue injury, the herb Solomon seal is also known as the great healer. It's an excellent herb, especially in a strong tincture, and you want to give your pet 1 drop per 2 pounds of body weight twice a day, and do that for a few days. It can really help a soft tissue injury, a ligament strain or sprain. Solomon seal is a wonderful tool to help heal faster so that it doesn't take 2 weeks to heal all the way. It may only take a few days. You can buy homeopathics at your local health food store or online, and you can buy Solomon seal tincture at Mountain Rose Herbs, Herbalist Alchemist. But you can't stop there because we have 3 more steps, the last one being most important. Step 2, let's figure out where this limping is coming from. Is it a back leg or a front leg? You know, these animals have 4 legs, and if it's a front leg, there's usually a head bob. So usually what happens is the head goes down with the good leg. So say I have a problem with this leg, my head's gonna go down when this leg hits the ground, just like this. So my head goes down with the good leg. So I want you guys to see if you can look at your pets, especially with a front leg lameness, see if there's a head bob, and see which leg you think is a problem for your pet. Now, before I get into the last 2 steps, the last step being most important, I want you guys to hit that subscribe button, comment, like. You can click that little heart and share the love. Let me know that you really appreciate these videos. And if you can watch it all the way to the end, that really helps us too. We have videos from everything from digestive distress to cancer and all kinds of things to help heal your pet holistically. So say your pet's a little bit older and you have a chronic limping problem. So a limping problem has gone on more than a couple of weeks. You've already been to the vet and you're trying to decide, should I give my pet these medications that may have some side effects? So let me give you a couple of other ideas. If you have a chronic limping pet, so that's limping on the front leg or the back leg, and it's been going on for quite a while, I want you guys to think about not walking your pet on concrete, especially if it's an arthritic problem, right? You're going to want to keep your pet on soft ground when you're walking him. And also, you don't want to not do anything with your pet. You want to do a little bit. That's why we recommend hydrotherapy so much, swim therapy. It's a non-weight bearing way of keeping the muscles strong. So if you keep the muscles strong and the ligaments strong, even if there's a joint issue, it's better for your pet. So if you have a chronic limp, it could be arthritis, it could be a soft tissue, but a more serious injury like a ligament rupture. It could be in the front leg. It's very common that it's a bicipital tendonitis problem. These are problems that need help. They need support. In holistic medicine, we use laser therapy, acupuncture, we could use chiropractic. We do use herbal medicine, which I'm going to talk about in the next step. If you have an acute limp on an older animal, it could also be a pathologic fracture. So that means your pet could have a fracture that's caused potentially by a bone tumor. So you guys need to head over to the vet and get an x-ray on that. The first thing to do is to check your pet's feet. You know, if you turn your pet's foot over, is there going to be a foot problem? In between the pads, there could be a cut, there could be an abrasion, he may have stepped on glass, there might be a foxtail in there, a little hole, and there's a foreign body in there. And so, or it could be an allergy problem, like for a little bulldog, and everything is all swollen. There could be a little interdigital cyst between the feet. So for all of these problems, it's good to soak in Epsom salts and use a little witch hazel if there's swelling. For a cut, you may actually have to go to the vet and get sutures and a wrap. But if you see that the pet is licking at the bottom of the feet, you're going to probably want to put an e-collar on the pet and dry the feet. You don't want to wrap the feet if the feet are already too wet. You want to dry the feet either with witch hazel or Epsom salts and leave it open and have the pet wear an e-collar or a comfy collar. If your pet is prone to allergies and licking at the bottom of his foot, or even licking between the toes or the pads, then what can happen is a secondary yeast can grow. And if a secondary yeast grows, then you really don't want to bandage that. You really need to dry that out. So that's Epsom salts, drying with a hair dryer, or using witch hazel in between the feet. You may need to get conventional or Western medical, veterinary medical advice, and also medications if it goes on, because your pet could do self-harm. If he's already licking enough to limp, then that means it's pretty bad. You're going to definitely need to take action for that limping. But you can't stop there, because we have one final amazing step. Step 4, let's learn all about arthritis. So arthritis is common in older animals, but it can happen in younger animals too, especially when they have a history of doing crazy sports like fly ball and dock dogs and all of these things that people do with their pets now. It can really be hard on the joints, even if the pet's only like 5 years old. For cats, it can be cats that jump and that are real active when they're young, but then when they're older, things kind of catch up with them, right? Like the rest of us. So what we do for arthritis at the clinic is that we want to, number one thing, we want to make sure the pet is not overweight. Is your dog fat? Is your cat fat? Please say no. That means you have a nice waist on your pet. I want you guys to make sure your pets are not fat. Super, super important when you're dealing with a limping problem. I've mentioned in a lot of these videos about an anti-inflammatory diet, and that's super important, but it also has to be really, really balanced with calcium and magnesium. I've seen calcium and magnesium deficiencies in homemade fed pets cause limping problems because the muscles are not getting the nutrients they need. And sometimes the dog will even leach, or the cat will even leach calcium from the bone. So you guys, make sure if you're feeding your pet a diet, it could be any diet you want, but make sure it's balanced. But for anti-inflammatory diet, that's generally a carbohydrate low diet. So less on the kibble, more on the meat and veg type front. It really helps with limping problems. In some cases, you'll even meet people where a raw diet has helped their pet's hip problem. Maybe you've seen that, and maybe you've met these people at the park, and they're all about how good raw diets are. And that's just because you have an anti-inflammatory diet, and the ligaments in the diet have glucosamine in them. So they have natural chondroprotective agents. When you feed a dog or cat ligaments from another animal, this is the way that they can strengthen their own cartilage in their joints. So it's just an added helpful thing. Other chondroprotective agents can be like Adequan injections. We give those once or twice a week. I recommend them. I know a lot of people do them sub-Q. Glucosamine in the food, we use pretty high doses, 1,000 milligrams of glucosamine sulfate per 50 pounds of body weight. We can do that twice a day. Hyaluronic acid, I use 100 milligrams for even a little cat once a day. And so these are oral tools. The Adequan is an injectable tool, but these are ways that we lubricate the joints. We add a chondroprotective agent. We add a way of protecting the cartilage from further degeneration. You guys, the herbs that we use here at the clinic for arthritis, every day, twice a day, they don't hurt the liver, they don't hurt the kidneys, they don't cause ulcers in the GI tract. These are the advantages of using herbal therapies if we can to treat, say, an early arthritis before we need to use pharmaceutical intervention. So in this case, we're using corydalis root, we're using bone set, we're using California poppy, and we're using wild lettuce. So these 4 herbs, we mix them up equal proportions, and then it's 10 drops per 50 pounds of body weight twice a day. And we'll mix this up and we'll put it, and we'll make sure we shake it up, and then 10 drops we put in the food for the dog twice a day. And for a cat, you know, they only need 1 drop of each of those herbs every day. That's it. Cats respond really well to the herbal therapy at low dose. These don't replace body work. So, you know, massage therapy, chiropractic, laser therapy, acupuncture. Acupuncture is probably the single best thing you can do for any arthritic situation. But maybe you don't have an acupuncturist where you live. Maybe you don't have a laser where you live. There's some lasers I can put links to that you can just buy on Amazon or online, and you can use these on your pet's joints too, and sometimes they reduce the inflammation just enough. Swim therapy. So you guys, there's tons you can do for arthritis. I don't want your pets limping around more than they have to, and we don't want your pets to be in pain. If you love this video, you're gonna love this one, which highlights holistic solutions for diarrhea and taking care of your pet's digestive tract. Thanks so much.